In the year when Maserati announced it was proudly coming back to single-seater racing, albeit in electric form, they announced their first ever electric car, which is this, the Gran Turismo Folgore. And in this episode, I'm going to do a review of this 280-mile range, 750 bhp, 4-seat, gorgeous coupe. I'm Jonny Smith, you're watching The Late Break Show, and this episode is proudly supported by blackcircles.com, Britain's largest online tyre retailer. I'm going to be completely honest and say that for a long time I haven't really taken much notice or particularly cared about what Maserati have put out. Probably 20 years ago was the last time things got really exciting with the MC12 and the Quattroporte. But suddenly there's this new era of Maserati and we're all taking notice. The MC20, gorgeous V6 mid-engine supercar that's going to also be available as electric. We've got the Grecale.
It's actually Grecale, Jonny. Grecale.
Which is also an SUV with piston power from the MC20, but EV power as well. And then you have this. You have this, the Gran Turismo, the all-new, I hasten to add, all-new Gran Turismo. The name has been with us now for 75 years on Maserati cars. They reckon they invented the Gran Turismo, the GT genre of car. But the Gran Turismo named car came out in 2007. This is nothing like it. It kind of looks similar, but everything is new. They say there's no componentry shared whatsoever. So this moniker, this name down the side, Folgore, it represents lightning in Italian. It says lightning. So this is the name given to all their electric cars. And what Maserati has decided to do, probably cleverly, is when they redesigned this, the Gran Turismo, they've also produced it as a piston car. So if you don't want it as an 800 volt, 280 mile range EV, you can have it as a V6 3 litre twin turbo. They're all all-wheel drive. So this car has one motor at the front and two motors at the back. They're all 250 horsepower. That combines to, yes, you've guessed it, 700 horsepower, 750 horsepower and 1350 Newton meters of torque. Very impressive. 800 volt architecture, and that means you can rapid charge it from the flap on the other side, 270 kilowatts. Probably 20 to 80% in 15 minutes. So the Gran Turismo has 4 seats, 4 different driving modes. It has 4 regen levels because this one's the electric one, and it has no pistons at all. But it has 3 portholes on the side. Now the old Maseratis have had these for vents, for letting air out of the engine bay. But this Folgore edition, being EV, it actually has lights here. And they light up whenever you get near the car, but they don't represent anything to do with the state of charge. You can see these beautiful creases in the bonnet and these air intakes down here. But this side profile, this profile is actually really recognisable. At a flash, you don't think this is much different to the outgoing Gran Turismo, which has always been a handsome car. But this is a new design from the ground up. And crucially, the ground up means that the battery packs don't live in a huge bolt-on belly pan, which a lot of EVs have. Maserati have said, no, we don't want that. We want lower centre of gravity and we want a lower car. So they've put them in a T-shaped format down the centre console and across under the back seat. And what that does, it means the car can sit. It's only a 1300mm high car. It's actually a very low car, and it means it doesn't affect the suspension travel or anything like that. Now, talking of suspension travel, we've got a nice set of 20-inch wheels here. I'm just looking at the rubber. Goodyear 265 3520s, and I'm pretty sure the back is 295s. 295 3020s. As usual with a performance car, you need rubber that performs well, but this being an electric car, you need to make sure it's a fairly efficient type of rubber. When it comes to needing new tyres for your car, go to blackcircles.com.
Head to the Black Circles website, enter your vehicle registration number and your postcode, and then you'll find the most suitable tyres for your car and your budget. There are thousands of reviews of different tyres from real customers to help you choose the best tyres for your car. And with the Black Circles Click and Fit service with over 2,000 tyre fitting partners, there will be a garage or a mobile tyre fitter conveniently located near you.
This is Maserati's first ever electric car. And it's interesting that they've chosen the Gran Turismo first, closely followed, albeit, by the Grecale.
Grecale? Come on, man, seriously.
Now, what I will say first and foremost is that I don't have this car for very long. Unfortunately, we only got about an hour and a half to film with it. It's left-hand drive, it's actually pre-production, so Maserati have said some of the materials might not be the same as the final versions, but when you get a chance to drive a really significant car, you jump at it. The DNA of this car, it all distills down to this Gran Turismo, these two words, Gran Turismo, which means it has to be comfortable, it has to be sporty, performance providing, but able to drive long distances and not make you feel unwell or uncomfortable. Now I've got it in one of the four, there they are, one of the four drive modes. So I've got it in, at the moment, GT. So you've got max range mode, which pairs everything back as you'd expect it to. GT mode, which gives you 80% of the overall power. Sport mode, which gives you 100%, bit more slippage of the traction control and stuff like that, with harder suspension. And then Corsa, which is race, and you could probably turn traction completely off. Let's just leave it in GT for now. Then the button in the middle, I've pressed that, look, you have S, Sport Damping. This is an air ride car. This has air suspension, so very adaptable and really good in other EVs of hiding the weight, because the enemy of an electric car always is weight. This weighs 400 kilos, I think, more than the V6 counterpart. So just over 2.2 tons. That is a lot, but then all of its competitors weigh a lot. What are the Gran Turismo Folgore's rivals? Its rivals are the Porsche Taycan, I would say, the Audi RS e-tron, and perhaps the Tesla Model S Plaid and the Lucid Air. So you've got touchscreen here with this bit in the middle here. These four massive buttons are actually the transmission: park, reverse, neutral and D. I keep wanting to sort of do it somewhere here, like the Taycan, but it's down there. It takes a bit of getting used to. And on the steering wheel, two gigantic ears, metal plus and minus ears, because if this was the piston version, these would be to hook the gears. But in this, it's actually, I think, 4 stages of regen. Yeah, look. And that sweeping dial there tells you about the regen. You start the car actually with the button here that's opposite the drive mode. So yeah, these seats are a kind of a, upcycled, reclaimed waste from the sea. And then the weave here, it's kind of like carbon fibre that's been unvarnished. When you look closely, it looks like copper cord is running through it. And it's the same on the door card there. And then the leather here looks like it's kind of been attacked by a pizza wheel, like a perforated pizza wheel or something like that. And this is interesting. There's a clock in the middle, but it's a totally digital clock that looks like an analog clock. But it's good. It all feels like the kind of quality you'd expect from something like a premium German car, Audi, Porsche, that kind of thing, which I guess is what they're gunning for. Now, I think this is a really handsome car, but I do think Maserati have played it safe with the EV version. It doesn't really look any different to the piston car, probably so you don't put people off. But you can tell this is the EV version. It's got a slightly different finish grille on it. You've got the massive trident here, which the grille doesn't feel particularly premium, I don't think, but I suspect this huge badge is hiding the radar. You've got parking sensors here, you've got a little camera there, and you've got the traditional Maserati crest up there. I love these little vent cutouts in the creased bonnet, and when you're driving along you can really see these creased wing tops. And in fact, these wing tops and these lights are like a mashup to me of the Jaguar F-Type and the 612 Scaglietti Ferrari, which is a Ferrari that I actually really liked. This is petrol blue, but they do a matte version, which we also had a look round earlier, and that is called Rame matte paint finish. I haven't asked how much that paint finish costs, but they're usually not very cheap. Talking of which, price-wise, there's 3 specs of this car. The entry level is the Modena spec, and that is a piston car, the 3-litre V6. And it's 490 horsepower, 145,000 pounds. 550 horsepower Trofeo edition is 165 grand. This, the Folgore, is about, we reckon, 190, 195,000 pounds. So this is the flagship car because it's a 200 mile an hour car, and this has all that torque and all that capability, 0 to 62 in 2.7 seconds. This is right up there with, you know, the high-end Taycans, the Audi e-tron GT, and I guess also the Lucid Air and the Tesla Model S Plaid. It's a very handsome car. I mean, the Gran Turismo always is, but I think what Maserati knows is it knows that its customers don't want leery winglets and madness. The MC20 supercar is even quite subtle and, you know, keeps it all pared down, and that's what I think the Folgore has. Oh, here's the charging door, look, with your CCS right there. So it's kind of mounted into the back bumper, just there. Flat floor car with these diffusers here. Yeah, I do like these haunches, I have to say, with the trident on the side. Boot space, well, we've got all our stuff in it because we're doing this in a real rush. So that's it full of stuff. I'll put the literage on screen now. But I believe it's bigger than the previous car. Right, sport mode, 0 to 62, 3, 2, 1. Wow, okay. Yeah, that was quick. I mean, I knew it was going to be quick, but that was really quick. You might have heard a few keys and things. It's always the problem when we're filming. You hear clutter and clatter, because it's usually my notebook, the keys of the car, a drinks bottle. Real world. Real world. The feel of the brake pedal is spot on. Steering is actually very good. I mean, it's quite hard with EVs to get those things right. It hides that 2.2 tons incredibly well. If I was buying it as a practical kind of, you know, 4-person car, the boot's possibly a little small, and this is the only body shape you can buy the GT in. But the air suspension seems to sort out these horrible British roads. Now, 1350 Newton meters of torque, even in kind of average mode, feels like this. I mean, I'm used to driving rapid electric cars these days, but certainly the mid-range punch in this car is it's really good. And 0 to 60s in 2.7 seconds, so I know we can get carried away. There's sub 2 second cars now in the EV world. That is impressive. It's an 800 volt platform, which is really good because that means A, it's as future-proof as you're going to get. There's not many cars that do have 800 volts, Porsche being one of the few. And it can charge up to 270 kilowatts rapid charge, which I think 15 minutes will see you 20 to 80%. Maserati is saying by 2025 their EV range is going to be extended with an all-new Levante, which is their big SUV, an all-electric version of the MC20, the mid-engined supercar, which is going to be really exciting. And of course, they've already got this, and they've already got the Grecale.
Sorry, viewers, this is embarrassing. Grecale.
Right, come on then, Johnny, let's put it in sport mode. So we should get a little bit more synthesized soundtrack, which I can take or leave. 100% power delivery, but you've got harder suspension. I can immediately tell that the suspension's a bit more unforgiving. I guess it's more track-ish focused, although Corsa mode is the Italian word for race, so that is the kind of race mode. It is a very easy car to position on the road, and being completely honest with you, this is the first time I've been genuinely excited about Maserati's car range in a long, long, long time. And that's not because I'm just interested in EVs, because I'm not. It's because I'm interested in the fact that they're doing serious piston products as well as EVs together. Maserati is now under the umbrella of Stellantis, and as you might know, there's a lot of brands within Stellantis. that have been pretty progressive on the electric front, which I suspect is why they've cracked forward with products like the Folgore. Now, the Grecale Folgore, also known as Grecale, so the electric version of the Grecale, which is their SUV that's smaller than the Levante, that car's going to come out as an EV imminently, and that is 400 volts. Has a bigger battery, but it's 400 volts, whereas this is 84 kilowatt hour battery pack usable, but 800 volts. So the ability to rapid charge quicker and probably more future-proofed. But this genre of car appeals to me more anyway. I mean, we don't have a 911, an electric 911 yet, do we? But in the not too distant future, we will have an electric 911. And the 911, I'm referencing that car because that is a good GT car and that can fit 4 people in it, albeit smaller, shorter people in the back. As I'm just weaving my way through a couple of rural villages, just minding my own business, it's important to note, someone that buys a Maserati is like someone that buys an Alfa or a car like that. You have to appreciate the brand and you have to want to be a little bit different. So if you're seeking exclusivity, you go in the right way. But I think for a long time, doing it with a Maserati is probably disappointing. I don't think this car is disappointing at all. I just think it's really interesting. I like seeing Maseratis on the road as long as they are interesting. And like all car companies, there's been times when they've not been so great, and there's been times when they're glorious. And I think it's about time, it's definitely about time, the Maserati had a glory season. Maserati is actually a tiny company, albeit with a vast history, but history only carries you so far. What I believe though right now is that Maserati's finally proving that the products can speak for themselves. I feel like Maserati's got its mojo back after so many decades really of not quite having it. And maybe electrification was exactly the excuse it needed, the catalyst it needed to kind of find itself again and prove that it can make not just good piston products, but also seemingly very credible electric products. And that's precisely what I reckon the Gran Turismo Folgore is. It's not perfect, and there are a few little things that annoy me. Space in the back isn't amazing, but then I'm a tall guy. But if you're thinking of buying the likes of a Taycan, an e-tron GT, a Lucid Air, have a look at this. You might be pleasantly surprised. And let's face it, in a world of exclusivity, that is a pretty exclusive car. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Late Break Show. If you haven't already subscribed, go and subscribe. We do a lot of EV content.